folks. I'm the cameraman dylanfan, Richard B. Westland. Welcome to my tiny homemade studio, adorned with some banners from my television cameraman days and a few images of my favorite recording artist, who is the subject of my forthcoming book. Oh no, you may say, not another book about Bob Dylan. Well, this one is unlike many. It has two unique angles on the artist, fresh ways of seeing the rock star's artistry. My book is written in the narrative nonfiction style and is coming out this spring, entitled 12 Rounds with Bob Dylan, the Pugilistic Poet. The non-fictional angle is about viewing his large body of work in 12 periods, all framed within a backdrop of Bob Dylan's boxing experience, which is the fictional angle. Even though Bob Dylan actually is a pugilist in real life, he's been boxing since high school and has kept up his training even while on the road. The boxing scenarios are included for narrative relief amidst the academic angles on the discourse of his artistic periods. There's even a glossary of good-natured pugilistic nicknames for Bob Dylan, which may seem irreverent to some, but it's intended as narrative humor. For example, Sugar Ray Zimmerman, the pugilistic poet, the boxing bard, and the contending composer are among some of the contrived handles as he fights his way through every round against imaginary opponents, of course. As a fan of Bob Dylan's music since the Freewheelin' album back in 1963, I've been keeping up with his albums, and so I have read many biographical books about him, written by respected authors and scholars. Then it dawned on me, no one has ever written about Bob Dylan's work in specific periods. Whenever the issue is addressed, it's usually referred as early, middle, or late. Sometimes it's referred to by the decade. But these parameters just don't tell the story of his creative arc because his music doesn't fit neatly into these vague or general categories. What I'm putting forward is the result of having been overwhelmed by his utter volume of songs and albums. By breaking down and grouping chronologically the succession of his original studio releases into 12 distinct periods, or rounds as I call them, one can observe with more clarity the relationship of his music to his artistry. It's interesting, too, that the great artist Pablo Picasso's work is universally recognized in 12 periods. My conception of Bob Dylan's artistic periods is derived from the stylistic changes, natural intervals, and creative surges across his 39 studio conception albums and his 43 additional live, compilation, and official bootleg albums, which comprise over 500 songs. That's a virtual mountain, a musical mountain. The structure of my designated periods is based on the chronological order in which the albums were released, from the beginning of his recording career in 1962 and up through to the present, with two exceptions. The Basement Tapes album is listed by its recording date, which is chronologically accurate, and the Travelin' Wilburys Volume 1 album is included in the same period as his Oh Mercy album, because the successive pair of albums reflects a strong creative surge for the artist in the 1980s. That's right, the 80s, a period many have said is an artistic nadir for the artist. Bob Dylan on the Wilburys album reconnected with his creative muse that was missing for years, and it carried over into his next forthcoming album, Oh Mercy. You must include the outtakes from Oh Mercy, Dignity, and Series of Dreams to feel the full thrust of this surge. Bob Dylan is back in the ring with all his moves working for him. I could break down these albums and break down the 12 artistic periods. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. Till next time, thank you.